What if I told you that everything you think you know about why people ride motorcycles is wrong? Hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you see every rider on the road forever. We've all heard the surface-level answers. Freedom, adrenaline, it's just fun. And sure, those aren't lies, but they're barely scratching the surface. The real reasons we swing our leg over that machine and fire up the engine run much deeper than most of us are willing to admit, even to ourselves. Before we dive into the psychology that drives millions of riders worldwide, smash that like button if you've ever felt that unexplainable pull toward two wheels. Your engagement helps this content reach fellow riders who need to hear this truth. Riding isn't just transportation. It's not just a hobby. It's therapy without the couch, rebellion without the cause, and escape without running away. It's everything we don't say when we gear up and disappear into the horizon. If you've been riding long enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are days when it's not about the motorcycle at all. It's about what that machine silences, what it amplifies, or what it helps you discover about yourself. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the raw psychological truths that keep us coming back to two wheels. No matter the weather, no matter the risk, no matter what anyone else thinks. The first psychological driver that most riders won't admit. Two is our desperate need for control in an increasingly uncontrollable world. Life doesn't come with handlebars. Your career trajectory, your financial pressures, your relationships, most of it feels completely out of your hands, even when you pretend otherwise. But a motorcycle? That's pure, unfiltered control. Every input matters. Throttle, brake, clutch, body position. There's no computer making decisions for you. No algorithm optimizing your route. No passive systems keeping you safe. Just your skill, your judgment, and your ability to read the road ahead. When you're in that saddle, suddenly you're the one, calling the shots again. We don't discuss it openly, but many of us feel powerless in our daily lives, trapped in meetings that accomplish nothing, nodding through conversations we don't care about, while time slips away minute by minute. But the moment we fire up that engine, everything shifts. We become decision makers again. We choose the pace, the route, the level of risk. No managers, no committees, no compromise. Just pure command. This is why some riders become genuinely irritable when they can't ride. It's not just missing the fun, it's losing the only arena where they feel truly in charge of their destiny. The motorcycle becomes our kingdom, and we are the absolute rulers. The second psychological truth is uncomfortable but undeniable. Many of us aren't just riding towards something, we're riding away from something else. Maybe it's stress that follows us everywhere. Maybe it's grief that sits heavy in quiet moments. Maybe it's that relentless inner voice that won't shut up when we're sitting still. Riding gives us permission not to sit still. It provides motion when life feels stagnant, noise, when silence becomes overwhelming. You've experienced those unplanned rides, haven't you? The ones where you gear up angry, exhausted, or heartbroken, and suddenly find yourself miles from home with no memory of how long you've been gone. That's not recreation. That's survival. The road doesn't judge. It doesn't ask why you're out there or what you're running from. It simply offers distance, time, wind, enough space between you and whatever's chasing you. Compared to other coping mechanisms people turn to, this one at least gets you moving forward. Some riders are seeking peace, others are fleeing chaos. But in the saddle, it feels like we're accomplishing both simultaneously, and that paradox alone keeps us coming back. Make sure you're subscribed because we're just getting started. And what comes next might make you Question everything you thought you knew about your own riding motivations. The third psychological driver is about identity validation. Every time you ride, you're not just operating machinery, you're broadcasting an image of who you are or who you want to be. The gear, the sound, the presence, it all sends a message that feeds something deep in your psyche. We don't choose motorcycles based purely on specifications. We choose based on the identity we want to project. Sport bikes suggest speed and precision. Cruisers imply laid-back confidence. Adventure bikes hint at rugged capability. Even if none of it reflects your actual personality, the moment you twist that throttle, you feel like it does. You become the movie version of yourself. More confident, more decisive, more authentic. We need this transformation because daily, life forces us into watered-down versions of who we really are. Professional you, responsible you, socially appropriate you. But rider you? That's the undiluted version. The one who doesn't wait in line or explain their choices. Riding validates this image. It reminds you that underneath all the compromise and civility, there's still someone with fire in their core. Someone bold enough to take calculated risks. Someone who doesn't just exist, but truly lives. The fourth truth is that danger feels more honest than safety. Most of our world is padded, sanitized, optimized for comfort. We live surrounded by airbags, warning labels, and systems designed to prevent us from ever feeling genuine risk. Somewhere in all that protection, something primal gets lost. Motorcycles bring authentic risk back into our lives. Not recklessness, but real consequences tied directly to our actions. Every ride reminds you that your choices matter, that physics doesn't care about your intentions, and that you're responsible for your own survival. There's no steel cage around you, no crumple, zones to absorb mistakes. Just your focus, your reflexes, and the decisions you make in split seconds. To outsiders, this sounds terrifying. To riders, it's clarity like nothing else, because danger doesn't lie. You can't fake your way through a corner or pretend you're paying attention when you're not. The machine knows, the road knows, and if you mess up, they'll let you know immediately. This honesty cuts through all the vagueness of modern life, where nothing feels entirely real. On a motorcycle, it's simple. You stay present or you suffer. You respect the physics or they teach you painful lessons. That relationship, built on trust and consequence, feels more genuine than most human interactions you'll have all week. The fifth psychological need that motorcycles fulfill is our craving for mental silence while being unable to tolerate physical stillness. Modern life bombards us with distractions, notifications, obligations, schedules. Your brain never gets quiet, and when it does, anxiety often fills the void. Most riders can't achieve peace by sitting in meditation. Put us in a quiet room with nothing to do, and we'll lose our minds. But put us on a machine moving at highway speeds, and suddenly, everything makes sense. That's the paradox. We need motion to find peace. Riding creates a unique form of mental silence. Not literal quiet. There's wind, engine noise, road hum, but the chatter in your head finally stops. When you're truly riding, you can't be anywhere else mentally. You're locked into the present moment, completely. This is the closest many of us ever get to meditation, and it's more effective than any mindfulness app or breathing exercise. The noise fades, the mental buffering stops, and for once your brain runs smooth and clear. Here's where it gets interesting, and I want you to comment below if this resonates with you. The sixth truth is that motorcycles make us feel tougher than we actually are. Most of us aren't genuine tough guys. We work office jobs, pay bills on time, say please and thank you, and get emotional watching commercials. But throw on leather gear and fire up an engine, and suddenly we feel like we have edge, presence, power. The equipment makes you look serious. The bike commands respect. People move aside. Strangers stare. Even non-riders project a mix of fear and admiration onto you. There's a reason motorcycles appear in every movie where someone needs to look dangerous or rebellious. It's a shortcut to projecting strength, and we absolutely buy into that transformation. Even the most mild-mannered rider walks differently after pulling off their helmet, with the engine still ticking behind them. Is it partly performance? Sure. But sometimes pretending to be strong makes you feel strong, and feeling strong changes how you act. More confident, more decisive, more capable. It's not deception, it's transformation. We don't ride because we're naturally fearless. We ride because the motorcycle lets us borrow that feeling when we need it most. Sometimes when life is overwhelming, that illusion of toughness is exactly what gets you through another day. If you're finding value in this deep dive, hit that notification bell so you never miss content that explores what really drives human behavior, because we're about to get even more honest about the psychology of riding. The seventh truth involves our simultaneous addiction to control and chaos. Riding is beautifully contradictory. On one hand, we obsess over precision, perfect gear changes, smooth inputs, flawless cornering lines. On the other hand, we deliberately seek out unpredictability. Weather changes, traffic situations, road conditions, anything can happen. Motorcycles satisfy both psychological needs simultaneously. They feed the part of us that craves mastery and technical perfection. But they also feed the part that secretly wants volatility, the thrill of adaptation, of having one foot in control and the other dancing on the edge of chaos. It's a mental balance beam that most areas of life can't provide. Everything else is either too safe or too reckless. Riding is both at once, and that tension creates an addictive psychological state. You never fully admit it, but the risk is part of the appeal. You don't want complete safety. You want to manage the threat, to dance with danger while staying in control. It's why your heart rate spikes when you navigate a close call successfully. You're not scared, you're alive. The eighth psychological truth is perhaps the most uncomfortable. Many riders struggle to ask for help in traditional ways. We'll joke, deflect, make sarcastic comments, and change subjects. But sit us down and ask what's really bothering us. Most of us freeze up completely. But give us a key, a full tank, and an open road, and suddenly we're processing everything. Not through words or conversations, but through motion, miles, and silence. The road becomes our therapist, the helmet, our confessional, and the bike our translator for emotions we can't articulate. Most riders are fiercely independent. We don't want to burden others or appear weak. We want to solve our own problems, figure things out internally, handle whatever life throws at us. Motorcycles let us feel like we're doing exactly that, even when we're not actually fixing anything concrete. Maybe that's enough. Maybe the act of going somewhere, anywhere, is its own form of healing. No appointments, no talking, just the road, the rhythm, and the parts of yourself you don't show anyone else. Sometimes riding is the only way we know how to ask for help without actually asking. The ninth truth is about separation and identity. Part of riding's appeal is that most people don't do it, and that makes us feel distinctive. In a world of identical experiences, motorcycles instantly set us apart. Riding becomes a filter that says we're different from the masses. It creates a line between riders and non-riders, between those who get it and those who think we're crazy. Whether we admit it or not, we feed off that misunderstanding. Every time someone says they could never ride or asks if it's scary, there's a flicker of pride because they're right. They won't, but we do. You see this in the subtle nod riders give each other on the road. It's not just politeness, it's recognition. You've chosen risk over comfort, exposure over protection, engagement over autopilot. Riding isn't just something we do, it's part of who we are, and that identity feels important. The 10th psychological driver is presence and mindfulness. Most of life happens on autopilot. We drive without remembering the route, scroll while eating, multitask constantly. We're everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. But on a motorcycle, you're completely present. There's no room for mental wandering because the moment your attention drifts, the world immediately corrects you. A pothole, a merging car, a corner that demands respect. Riding forces presence, and surprisingly, that demand becomes a gift. When you're riding, there's no past or future, no regrets or anxieties, no mental to-do lists, only the next gear change, the next turn, the next heartbeat. For people who live too much in their heads, this groundedness is rare and valuable. We don't frame it this way, but riding makes everything feel real again. Colors seem more vivid, sounds more distinct, sensations more immediate. You notice details because you have to, because survival depends on awareness. In that hyper-aware state, all mental noise fades away. Comment below if you've experienced this state of complete presence while riding, because the next truth might explain why you feel different when you're not on your bike. The 11th psychological factor is identity integration. For many riders, the motorcycle isn't just transportation or recreation, it's a core part of who we are. When we can't ride due to weather, mechanical issues, or injury, we don't just miss the activity, we miss ourselves. Suddenly, you're irritable, restless, unmotivated. Nothing feels quite right. That's not coincidence. That's withdrawal from a part of your identity. Your bike isn't just something you use, it's how you regulate emotions, reconnect with yourself, and maintain psychological balance. Long-term riders know this intimately. The motorcycle becomes an anchor, a reset button, a mirror reflecting the version of yourself that isn't weighed down by daily responsibilities. That's why many ride alone, even when they have riding friends. It's not antisocial, it's introspective. You're checking in with the version of yourself that only emerges with an engine between your knees and asphalt flowing beneath you. Without that connection, something essential feels missing. Something that makes everything else feel more alive and authentic. The 12th and final truth is about aging and relevance. We rarely discuss it, but the fear of growing old haunts many riders. Not just the number of years, but what aging represents. Slower reflexes, diminished sharpness, increasing ordinariness. Riding fights against that decline. It doesn't stop aging, but it defies the passive acceptance that often comes with it. Every ride says you're not ready to surrender to routine and resignation. You're not just getting older, you're riding through the years with intention and vitality. This explains why you see older riders pushing harder than their doctors would recommend. Why the 60-year-old on the naked bike leans into corners with more commitment than physics should allow. Riding represents refusal to become invisible or irrelevant. Some people buy sports cars to feel young again. Riders choose 2 wheels and dare gravity to prove they're still vital. Every ride becomes an act of defiance, proof that no matter how many birthdays pass, your spirit still craves horizons and adventure. You're not afraid of aging itself. You're afraid of losing the part of yourself that refuses to go quietly into that good night. We tell people we ride because it's efficient, economical, fun, but every twist of the throttle connects to something deeper, something we don't always articulate. We ride to feel free, powerful, present, authentic. To remember who we are or forget everything else temporarily. It's not just about the machine, it's about the mirror it provides. Riding reveals the version of ourselves we aspire to be, and sometimes the version we're afraid to admit we already are. So here's my question for you, and I really want you to engage with this. Why do you ride? What draws you to two wheels beyond? The obvious answers? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and often respond because these conversations matter. If this exploration of riding psychology resonated with you, subscribe for more content that digs deeper into what really motivates human behavior. Hit that like button to help fellow riders discover these insights. And remember, whether you ride for peace, power, pride, or something else entirely, you're part of a community that understands the deeper currents beneath the surface. Stay safe. Out there, ride smart, and most importantly, ride with honesty about what really drives you to keep coming back to two wheels.